I call on stage Tarja Teppo from Finland, and I'm looking forward to your presentation. I want to learn what's happening in the Nordics.
All right, very good. Okay, very glad to be here. I guess I'm the sole representative from the Nordic countries. I don't think there's anybody from Sweden, Denmark, or Norway. So glad to be here. And I try to be very brief, because I know that I'm the one between you and the coffee. So let's get moving. Very shortly, we are a fund management company. We're located in Helsinki, Finland. And we concentrate on energy and material efficiency ventures. And we manage a fund, which is called Clean Future Fund. We have made 9 investments out of that one. They are all early-stage cleantech companies. All are Finnish companies, but the 2 of the companies, one is actually of UK origin, but relocated in Finland. The other one did the same thing from Russia. And we also operate as so-called Vigo Accelerator. I'll tell you a little bit about that. And this is how we get nice leverage to our early stage investments, which lowers the risk for us as an early stage investor and actually enables us to make these early stage investments. So, just short thing about the accelerator thing. And I know that sort of the word accelerator, you know, it means different things to different people. And how this whole thing was initiated was that the Finnish government, they realized that there was just too little money going into the early stage ventures in Finland. And the business angel scene is not that organized in Finland. I mean, there are business angels, yes, they are organized, but the money flow is not particularly on a large level. And what they decided to do is that they decided that, okay, we're going to select from different areas private companies, private investment companies that get sort of a little stamp called Vigo, which means that when they invest, they get to put heavy governmental leverage on top. And we are the only one that operates with a cleantech mandate, which is very good for us, because we get to see pretty much, I would say, 85–90% of all the early stage cleantech deals that go around in Finland, a large part what goes around in the Baltics, and also a lot of deals from Sweden. We're very involved also with the Cleantech Scandinavia and the Nordic Cleantech Open, if you've come across those. Alrighty, so as a basic rule, if we put, as a first round, if we put 300K in a company, we get a €1 million grant on top. Then obviously we make later rounds, but this enables us to enter into an investment with a rather small sum of money. And also maybe a particular thing here is that there needs to be motivation for the fund management team as well. When you think about a small early stage fund, you know, the carry is not particularly big. So there needs to be incentive that the management team really drives these companies forward. And that actually comes in the form of sweat equity. We actually are owners in each as a management company. This is a bit sort of a unique structure, I admit. So we actually direct owners in each one of the portfolio companies where the fund is investor as well. Then we have you can right away think that, oh, there may be sort of a conflict of interest here, you know, who's driving sort of, you know, how much sweat equity do you take versus how much does the fund have an ownership, and that's why we have an advisory board structure there that takes care of this problem. But anyway, so in short, we have a high incentive to work very closely with the companies because, you know, we are owners in these same companies where we have put the money in work. And this is, I already said some of the issues. The early stage money, I mean, I believe this is, I talked with some of the people yesterday, and it sounds to be that it's probably not that different in Germany. The early stage funding sits very tight here as well. But this is very true also in the Nordics. And we find this as an opportunity. Many of the VCs, they've sort of moved up in the food chain. A lot of people changing for the later stage deals. But you know, you can lose a lot of money also in the later stage deals, not just in the early stage. So we have really sort of found that for us the sweet spot is in the early stage. And maybe what's unique when it comes to Nordic ventures, this is not just Finland, but all the Nordics. These are all small countries, maybe large in sort of geographical size, but small in population. So when you are an early stage company in the Nordics, what you need to do from the very beginning is look outside of the Nordic region. And that's part of the reason why I'm here today as well. And so if we as investors, if we want to make sort of the best sort of success chances for our portfolio companies, what we need to do is really help them to take this leap from the Nordic market, from the Finnish market to outside. And we focus very much on Asia, but also obviously sort of the European context is very important for us. And almost all of our portfolio companies, majority of their customer cases are already outside of the Finnish borders. I will sort of talk a little bit of each of just as few examples. I mean, don't worry, I'm not going to sort of walk you through the whole portfolio. Here's just if you want to sort of look at these in more detail, you can just go to our website and the same picture is there. So you can just click to the tile and then you get to see more about the company. But just very shortly, so we have made 9 investments. And out of these, 8 are business-to-business type of ventures in the industrial setting. The only one which works in the retail market is called NetCycler. I will talk a little bit about NetCycler. And there's really 2 themes, even though that we look at clean tech broadly. It's energy efficiency. We are investors in 2 energy efficiency service companies that work in the industry. And obviously sort of materials, materials reuse and all sort of things related to resource efficiency. We are, for example, investors in an ash handling company and so forth. All right. Just very briefly on a few of the companies. Savosolar. I'm not going to go through all these bullet points because I assume that the presentation they're going to be online. But very shortly, because I think it's an interesting story what goes in the background. As many of you know, Finland's known or used to be known for the mobile phone technology. Nokia has been going down the drain for a couple past years. But anyways, you have a lot of facilities left, which back in the days were used for the production of different mobile phone parts. And there's a lot of expertise in coding. And you would think that, okay, what's there in common with mobile phones and solar thermal collectors? But actually, it's the coding. These guys, they founded Savosolar, and we entered into an investment when the company was just a few months old. They have this huge manufacturing site, which they use to coat mobile phone parts. And these guys built the line. It's a huge manufacturing line. I have a picture of it. And they knew it inside out. And they were experts in different coding technologies. So they were able to take this mobile phone component manufacturing line and turn it into a solar thermal collector coding line. And they basically bought it for the cents for the dollar, so as you say. And they were chosen as you're probably aware of the Intersolar happening. So they were they won the Innovation of the Year award in 2011. And there's just a picture of their line. So this is, we on Accelerator, we sort of early stage pre-round A investor, but we have a company like this in our portfolio. So it's just, when you talk about seed and early stage, it doesn't always mean that, it's a man and a dog and a slide set. So it can be something else. Another one, Enercomp was actually supposed to be here, but they got sort of just super busy with their customer thing, so they unfortunately couldn't make it here. But anyways, this is a energy efficiency service company, and they actually have customers here in Germany as well, in Poland, a lot of customers in Finland, and first cases now starting in Russia. And they've concentrated on the paper and pulp industry, which is obviously the other industry Finland's known for. And because paper and pulp industry, they use a lot of energy in their production. And this is basically, it's a sensors that they put on different kind of pumps and fans. And they measure sort of, it's like this one of these big data applications. They crunch the data, and it out comes sort of an investment plan. if you want to save so and so much money, this is what you need to do. And this is oftentimes something, this is sort of the talk that the CFOs understand, and they're like, okay, fine, let's do it first on this paper line, and then they have the 20 other paper lines that they just sort of replicate it after that. So that's going quite nicely. One1, I talked with somebody yesterday how the differences between Finland and Germany when it comes to use of district heating and heat. One1 makes energy islands or heat islands. District heating is used very widely in Finland. I mean, it's sort of like how people heat their houses. If somebody heats their house with electricity, that's just considered a bit odd because it's pricey, because it's expensive. But what One1 does is that for many utilities, it does not pay off. If you build a new residential area, it would be a bit too expensive for them to build the district heating pipes and the lines reaching that new development area. So what they do, but people are very used to buying district heating. They want to buy district heating from a utility. So what these guys do is they build a so-called heat island. They produce heat from renewable sources, whether it's solar thermal, whether it's heat pumps and so forth. But it's the utility that sells it. They make a deal with the utility, and the utility sells it to the customers. And the customer perceives, I'm buying district heating, as I did in my previous apartment and so forth. And this is really going like hot cakes, because this is what the towns and communities really want to do. And these guys now expanding to Russia. Netcycler, so this is sort of the oddball of our portfolio. This is the retail case. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with the company, but they operate also in Germany. So this is a swap service, basically that, if I have a pepper mill, which I don't use, how can I change that into something that I actually would need? And the cleverness here is that, it's not just that exchange between two people, but it forms sort of swap sort of circles. So actually, if I have one item, there's like 1,000 items that I can change it for. And they operating in Finland, Germany, and the UK, and they just bought out swap.com, and they are now actually the biggest website in the world. So they're really concentrating on the US market. So that was that. But then just the last slide, so don't worry, you'll get to the coffee very soon. So this is actually where we are going. We've been operating this venture capital fund, but also what we realized, and the ICOS Capital was talking about the same thing, that that actually the intriguing thing is that you would actually like to finance some of the projects, the underlying projects of your portfolio companies, because that's really sort of the challenging part in the early stage. And what we are doing is that we're actually changing the fund into a evergreen investment company. We're raising money to the balance sheet so that we actually have more degrees of freedom. We can, in addition to do direct venture investments, we can do asset leasing, all sort of things that are related to the portfolio companies. So this is sort of the next step for us. All right, that was it. Thank you.